Is this heaven?
No, it's a podcast. Welcome to the Field of Geeks podcast.
Hello and welcome to Field of Geeks episode 173. I'm Josh.
I'm Bill.
And I'm Megan, damn it.
And Megan right now, she's going to space with Richard Branson, so we wish her very safe journeys, and this will be cool. This is the first podcast as she enters into the abyss of space, if you will. Does that sound good?
Here we go.
I thought I was going to Mars, but I guess space is good
Yeah,
enough for
or
me.
we could, you're wanted by the FBI and they're chasing you on the interstate. Whichever you want to go with, it's fine.
No, let's leave the FBI out. I don't think I want any running.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Mulder and Scully, stand down. This is going to be a fun show. We got a lot to talk about. So, yeah, first off, we lost someone huge in the industry and, who's a big presence in our life, at least behind the camera, if you will. Richard Donner passed at the age of 91. Very sad, but lived a long life and made so many cool things that we all still adore to this day. So
It would be so hard to pinpoint just one favorite film of mine that he's done. He's been involved in so many things. Lethal Weapon series, of course, Superman, The Omen. There's been so many. He even directed 3 episodes of the Tales from the Crypt TV series. So, I mean, he's been all over the place, and he's directed so many phenomenal things. It's losing him is like losing, Scorsese or Spielberg or who. I mean, you can compare him to just about anybody, but
absolutely.
He's done so many great things and directed so many great movies. It's hard to pinpoint just one.
He began his career in television. He directed such shows as Have Gun Will Travel, The Fugitive, Get Smart, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., The Wild Wild West, Gilligan's Island, and yeah, as Bill said, Tales from the Crypt. He also did some Kojak, so that's pretty badass. I think that's Telly Savalas, Who Loves You Baby, the lollipop. I think that is.
We're talking Wild Wild West, Will Smith, right? 'Cause
No,
that's my
nope,
generation.
TV.
Oh, okay, never mind.
That was a 60s show.
Never mind, yeah.
Which was much better than the movie we got. Much better. It was like James Bond in the West. It was pretty badass. He directed the classic Twilight Zone episode, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. I just found this out, which starred William Shatner. So, it's about the monster on the wing of the plane, and no one believes him because the monster always vanishes when he's trying to show everyone. So it's kind of like, I can't remember how it ended, but I think it was interpreted as it could have been him just seeing this thing, or it could have been real.
Yeah, they kind of left it a little bit ambiguous. And then I think John Lithgow even did a version of that. I don't know.
In the Twilight Zone, the movie. Twilight Zone, the movie,
Yeah.
in 83, I believe. Yeah, and there's actually a funny reference to both of them playing the same. I don't know if it's the same character. It might be different names, but when Lithgow was on 30 Rock, William Shatner guest starred, and they had a little joke about, we both saw something on a wing of a plane at one time. So it was really, I need to look that clip up. But yeah, I was like, it's really clever for them to do that. And Lithgow actually did, I think it was a respectable remake of that episode. The movie really consisted of the classic episodes, I think, redone in a way, modernized, which I wonder if they'll revisit sometime later. But yeah, Donner also did Maverick, which I like Maverick. I think that's really good. Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster. There's even a funny cameo of Danny Glover in it. He had a production company with his wife Lauren, and they produced Free Willy and the X-Men franchise under 20th Century Fox. And he actually wanted to be an actor in the beginning, but was encouraged to direct instead. So Jeff Johns was his assistant in the 90s, I guess, and together they recently wrote a story for Action Comics 1000. Kevin Feige worked for him for a period of time. I learned a lot from him. He's quoted saying, he made me believe that comic characters could be brought to life on the big screen with heart, humor, humility, and verisimilitude. And then there's actually a funny story. Gene Hackman, who's been retired since, I think, 2004, maybe a long time, let's say.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
He came out of the woodwork and he said this about Donner. He said, "I showed up for the first day of makeup test for Superman with a fine Lex Luthor mustache I'd grown for the role. Dick, wearing his own handsome mustache, told me mine had to go. He bargained to lose his if I did mine. True to his word, he celebrated my last razor stroke by gleefully pulling off the fake whiskers he'd acquired for the occasion." And he said, "Dick made it." Yeah. Isn't that clever? That's clever, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he said Dick made it fun, and that's why the films turn out that way too. So yeah, that was really sweet. Yeah. And I've heard that story before on like the behind the scenes of Superman the movie. He gave us our first huge comic book movie, you could say. I think. Yeah. Superman the movie.
Yeah, he really did.
Because before that movie,
and that really made Christopher Reeve a household name too.
Unknown at the time. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that was just lightning in a bottle, that film. And he got robbed out of directing 2. Because I don't know if a lot of people know, they filmed 1 and 2 back to back, but they were running out of money, so they had to pretty much stop doing 2 and focus on finishing the first one, post-production stuff. And then he just wasn't asked back after the time. The Salkinds were producers of the film, and I don't think they got along too well. So, yeah, they just didn't ask Donner to come back. And, of course, they used some of his footage and kind of Frankensteined it a little bit like Justice League, you could say, with Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder's conflicting visions, if you will. But a lot of people love 2, and Donner's cut of 2 was released maybe 10 years ago or so. It's actually worth checking out. I don't know if you've seen it.
It's very worth checking out. Yeah, I think comparing the 2, it's night and day difference for me.
Yes.
So I would definitely recommend checking that out.
Well, spoiler, like that whole Paris scene is gone from his cut. It's totally gone.
Yeah.
The buffoons robbing or whatever the hell they were doing. That's the thing. Richard Lester, I believe, was the director they brought on, and I think he did 3 as well. But he was more humorous director, which is what Donner was trying to avoid with his Superman, because there was a lot of ideas that he was like, absolutely not. The Richard Donner cut is definitely worth it. It's not perfect because they had to use some screen tests, so there's some jarring scenes where they do not look the same. Like, Clark's got different glasses and a different look, and it just looks different. But that's all they had to do, or it's all they had available to complete it. Those films suffered after he was gone. 2 was helpful because it was some of his involvement, and you had General Zod and everybody. But after that, it just became weak. There was no longer heart, I guess you could say, in it. It seemed, it was just another movie to make some money off of.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like after 2, they very much went like a campy route with it.
Yes,
Richard Pryor and Nuclear Man and all that.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
4 was so bad. Yeah, it just fell from grace, man.
It's I always look at the Superman movies kind of like I did the Batman movies, like the early ones, with Tim Burton and everything like that. Like 1 and 2 are good. After that, you can take it or leave it. I mean, you can watch. Not miss anything. You're not going to miss out by seeing it or not seeing it, but
yes, absolutely. Yeah, they pretty much followed the same path.
It was not. I mean, it definitely took a swerve to sell toys and to market to kids, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the Lethal Weapon franchise, classic. I was hoping, not necessarily hoping, but there was word they were going to make a Lethal Weapon 5, and Donner was possibly going to direct. And I don't know if that's going to happen now or if it was even going to happen. It just seems kind of ridiculous, They're pretty much late 70s, 80s, and it's like, I don't think they'd still be cops. I think maybe a donut shop gets held up or something. I don't know.
They're even talking about doing a second Goonies movie. Yeah. And that's, now that's Lethal Weapon 5 and Goonies 2 are very, very unlikely without Donner's involvement. So, which I'm fine with. I mean, Goonies as a standalone movie is perfectly fine.
Sure.
Like we don't need the 30 years later treatment like we're getting with a lot of these older franchises. But
right, yeah. I think of out of those two, because Lethal Weapon got explored more, Goonies, I think they could revisit it. I don't think they should remake it. I think they should honor what he set up and kind of do what Bryan Singer did, but successfully. You know, when Singer did his Superman Returns, he was honoring Donner's take on Superman, trying to have a movie set. It was a love letter to his Superman films, if you will. So I think whoever does Goonies next should honor that. And, you know, I would do the Sons of the Goonies or something like, or the kids of the Goonies.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see, you know, maybe not even a full-fledged movie, but like a Goonies reunion kind of thing.
Like a show.
You know?
They could do a miniseries. I think that would be perfect. Yeah. That sounds great to me. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of those actors like went on to be pretty big. You know, Josh Brolin, of course, is Thanos now. I mean, he's, you know, he really skyrocketed his career. Sean Astin, had a lot of success with like the Lord of the Rings movies, with Stranger Things, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. So
yes,
and a lot of those actors in it were super young when they filmed the Goonies. So it'd be kind of neat to see like a reunion special, like maybe a one-off kind of thing, you know, like they did with the Friends reunion. But
yeah, there was a lot of traction, I think, about 10 years ago or less, I guess, but it just kind of it never happened. I don't know how close they got to doing it. I mean, the good thing is most of those actors are not huge anymore, so they probably wouldn't be as expensive to bring on. So, you know, you would think, you'd think they could have got something together, but who knows what happened behind the scenes, you know. It seemed like there was a lot of wanting for it to happen by fans. You know, I was at a con event. Sean Astin was there, and he was. We were in there in his convention hall or whatever you call it. When he brought that up, everyone was just like pumped, like, yes, let's do it. And I thought for sure we'd get something, but not yet. But maybe Donner's death will help push it into production. Maybe, you know, sadly they might try to capitalize on people's love for Donner, and in a good way, we'll get a Goonies out of it if it's done right. But we'll see. I mean, that's the only thing I see them doing more of.
That's the caveat, though, if it's done right.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
It would almost have to be handled like by his estate or somebody who's very close to Donner, who knows like the ins and outs of his style, you know, and not make it just some like super fantastical cash grab kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, perhaps his wife, or I don't know. I mean, he's had understudies. Hell, Kevin Feige, man, he could. He worked for him, you know. I think he could do something. I mean, if and when he jumped ship from Disney to another studio, because obviously Goonies, I think, is owned by Warner Brothers. So I don't.
Yeah, it'd be a little difficult to have his involvement, probably, but
it would be cool for him to. He could do it. He would know. I think he'd hire the right people. So. Yeah, that's super sad. Huge career, big legacy.
That would be like maybe segueing into our recommendations or whatever.
Absolutely,
I would say go to his IMDb page and literally pick any movie of his that you haven't seen and watch it.
Yes,
and you'll love it.
Absolutely. Yep.
He did a lot of like kind of documentary kind of things too. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff on there. Like if you like going back and watching classic TV shows, he did 6 episodes of The Twilight Zone. I'm sure you can find those just about anywhere.
Sure.
He did Kojak. He did, you know, Streets of San Francisco, Cannon, Bold Ones. He did all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
So literally, you know, go to his IMDb page, scroll down randomly, pick something you haven't seen and watch it.
Do that, everybody. After you listen to this, of course. But yeah, after. Go do it.
After you like, follow, subscribe.
We also, thank you. We also did, years ago, it's like our first year doing the show, or starting this network, if you will. We did a commentary for Superman the movie and Superman 2. So those are out there for anyone to listen to.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that maybe like if we haven't done, you know, if Field of Geeks hasn't done like an at the movies for one of his movies like Superman or something like that, it might be kind of a cool way to honor him.
Well, we can still do the Donner cut We didn't do that. We did the Lester Superman 2, so we could definitely
Yeah.
do the Donner cut, and of course, Lethal Weapon would be great to do, I think. And who knows, a Goonies? That'd be fun.
There's so, oh man, it would, I don't know, like, it would take forever to like just scroll through his,
Yes.
list of accolades and like pick one that would be like just epic to cover. I mean, there's so many of them. But
I was just shocked how old he was. It didn't seem. I was like, man, he's 91. Wow.
He was one of those guys that you just kind of thought in the back of your mind would live forever.
Right. He's always there.
You know what I mean? Kind of like Stan Lee and those guys.
Right.
Like you just kind of thought they would be around forever, and you never really thought about how old they were. I guess
it's true. William Shatner himself just turned 90, so I guess it gives us hope, right, that we might live that long. But Shatner's unique, though. I think he stays active, and like he does like the convention circuit. So, and he rides horses. So I don't know if that's the key to staying alive longer or not.
Yeah. I mean, like William Shatner, especially, like he's like the Ric Flair of acting. Like you'd have to pull him away.
Right.
You have to like literally force him away to get him to stop doing it.
Right. I mean,
like
he's
going to conventions and stuff like that. Like he's so active. Like,
he is.
I mean, he especially just loves talking to fans and stuff like that. So I don't.
And he still sounds the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't have that old man voice, like where you lose it.
He's not like slowing down anytime soon, which is odd. I mean, you look at the guy; he looks like he lives on a diet of McDonald's and Diet Coke.
Right. I know. It's a shame they killed off Captain Kirk because he's wanted to come back somehow, but it's like, how do you get around that?
Well, and
it's a shame.
And he was even kind of not really upset, but he was kind of annoyed that like they had old Spock in the new Star Trek movie,
right? And
then just like kind of swept him under the rug
because it's the Hollywood thought, like, I know I died in that other film, just bring me back. It's just people are gonna buy it.
Well, I know even Leonard Nimoy was like, that was not the way for Jim Kirk to go out.
No, and Nimoy hated that film. Actually, he actually was asked to be in it, and he turned it down. He didn't like the script. I think he was even asked to direct it.
We could get into that whole debate with Star Trek, like the even numbered movies.
Yes. Well,
being better than the odd numbered movies, but
that also, I'd like to plug. We also do Star Trek mission reports. Need to dust it off. It's been a while, but love to have you on, Bill, and we could talk about a lot of cool things. Of course, Steve, if and when he's available. He's a very busy guy, making the big bucks, all that jazz. But yeah, check out our YouTube channel, Facebook page. We're everywhere, and of course, Bill, 515 Gaming.
Yes. Wish Steve was on here to give me another soundbite, but that's all right.
It's okay. You know what? I can pull it from the other show and throw it in there.
No, that's all right.
I do like that soundbite though. That's awesome. That gets you really amped.
I do. We got a whole one new subscriber, so it must be doing something right.
There you go. Yeah, and they can find you on YouTube, Facebook, pretty much anywhere as well.
Primarily on YouTube. I do have a Discord server. Got a Facebook page. Basically, if you go to any of my videos, look in the description. It'll give you links to everything. Not on Twitter anymore, though. I kind of decided to put the kibosh on that. I was just getting tired of all the negativity on there. Not directed at me, per se, but
right, yeah.
It's just it's a cesspool. It really is.
I've tried.
It's so easy to like see it and to see that stuff and to like get drawn into it, and it just totally affects your mood.
Right.
And I don't like that. I like to keep it positive,
No, I got you. That's one of the problems when everyone has a voice, if you will. They're not all thoughtful and precise, I guess. They're just like blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also like to recommend. This is a movie I've been wanting to see for a long time, and I finally just decided to watch it. The New Mutants. It was on HBO Max, and I was intrigued to see this film. It looked very dark from the first trailer. This came out, or the trailer came out, I think it was right after or during the Phoenix time. It was basically at the time where Fox was fading out to Disney. So it was up in the air, like what the hell was going to happen. And there was a lot of rumors, and possibly truth that they reshot a lot of the New Mutants to make it more PG-13. I gotta say, I like the film. I'm not saying it's great, but it's a simple story, if you will. Good cast. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty decent.
I don't know if we talked about this on a previous episode or not, but wasn't it like the guy who like created the New Mutants comic, like as soon as the movie came out, just like totally bombed it? He was like, it's not at all in line with my vision or something like that.
Yeah. And I can see that. Yeah, it's definitely it's not as grand, I guess. It's kind of this institute they're in. But I think it kind of set up possibilities of going further. It's just, I think it was a low budget film, and I get where they were trying to do what they're trying to do. The special effects look pretty decent. I didn't really think they were terrible or anything. There was a few shots I was wondering if they were reshoots because they were very hammy with telling you what was happening, versus I think they were just trying to make this film its own thing, and you interpret, I guess, what's happening in a way. The original trailer was very interesting to me, and it looked scary as hell. The finished product is not scary to me. I scare pretty easily. There was really no scene in this film that was like, oh my God.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I heard, and I have yet to see it, but that's one of the main things that I've heard is that, like, if you go into it expecting what you see in the trailer, you're going to be disappointed.
Yes.
Is that pretty accurate? Okay.
Yeah, the initial trailer, the first trailer we ever saw, I think you will be. But it's not.
I don't know. I mean, you can't judge an entire movie based on a trailer.
No, because trailers.
If the trailer is set up like kind of a, feel for the movie, and you go to see it, and it's just this campy bullshit, then it's you kind of are like, okay, I came in here expecting something kind of dark, but
right,
okay.
Trailers, on their own are their own thing, really, because that movies are really hard to recapture what your thoughts and feelings were. Like Suicide Squad, the original Suicide Squad trailer, I loved it. I loved it. I loved the music they used. It was just, it just got my hopes up. Like, this is gonna be awesome, and wow, not awesome much at all. Didn't hate the film, but it was not. And I don't think, it wasn't what David Ayer wanted the director. He got robbed. So that's another cut I wish we could get, like Snyder got his. But we'll see. Maybe someday we'll have to, maybe they'll have to go fund it or something. I don't know. Crowdfund it. Yeah, so New Mutants, I recommend you checking it out. I think you'll like it, Bill, on its own, like, merits, I guess. Like, if you take it out of the... If you're not a huge fan of the comic, let's say, I don't think you'll be let down as much. But if you are, you're probably not going to be happy. Like, really? This is it? I'm not familiar with the comic. I'm
not either. I never really got big into the comics, so
right.
I got more into like the main X-Men series, and then they started branching off into like hundreds of different
right. That's where my love is.
Like, it's so hard to keep up with. But.
Yeah, the X-Men series is where the main cast is what I like, or what I know, let's say. Any other things you've checked out recently or want to recommend before we move on to news?
You could just check out the Witcher trailer, because if you haven't checked it out and you're not watching it 15 times a day, then we can't be friends, because I don't know why anybody would like it.
Megan has analyzed this trailer.
Did you watch all the WitcherCon stuff that came out, Megan?
I didn't. I just watched the trailer.
She's not that crazy.
Well, I made the mistake. I had watched a couple of things that had come out that were Witcher related, but then Joey told me that it was all fan-made stuff, so whatever.
It's a lot of that's done so well, it's really hard anymore to tell sometimes, like, is this real or fake?
Well, and Bill, you would probably know, but I've only ever played, and I shouldn't even say I played, it was my husband that played the game, and I can't remember which one we have, but I did notice that, so they go back to, this is probably completely irrelevant, but they go back to where he was raised, and that's in one of the games. Like, that's the start of the game that we played.
I think, don't quote me on that, but I think that's Witcher 3.
Might be.
If I'm not mistaken.
How many games are there?
I think the third one's the most recent
Okay.
I think there's another one in development, but it's kind of, I don't know, up in the air. I think it's one of those things with like it seems to be like with all the franchises lately, like The Witcher, Uncharted, Fallout, stuff like that.
Mhm.
There's like so many things like, oh, should we make it exclusive to this console or that console? Should we get this team involved or that team involved? It's like, just keep the old team involved and just keep it the way it is. That's what the fans want. But
Right.
anyway,
Yeah.
I digress.
I hear you. No,
I'm still salty about Days Gone not getting a fucking sequel.
you need to do a rant cast about just that.
I do. That's actually a video I've been wanting to do for a while. But
Do
it's
it.
like,
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I've been so busy editing on other stuff.
Of course.
And it's like now if I put it out now, it's like, okay, this is 2 months old. But then again, I don't know. Might still do it. Just be like, oh, I've been meaning to do this for a while.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be great. Yeah, Witcher looks good. I still haven't seen the first season all the way through, let alone the first episode. I don't hate what I saw. I was tired when I watched it, but it looked like it was well produced and made and all that.
It's very bingeable.
Sweet.
I think it's one of those ones you could get into it not intending to binge it, but you're going to watch the entire series in one go and then be like, I want more.
That's what happened to me. That is exactly what happened to me. I didn't, I turned it on and I thought, okay, well, I'll give this a go because it's kind of in my realm of fantasy. Like that's the stuff I like. Mm-hmm. And I didn't go in thinking that I would like it, and I just all night long, just one right after the other. I couldn't stop.
There's so many things that they try to bring to Netflix that just don't work out. Like a lot of the like live action anime movies and stuff like that. But this is definitely one that worked out, and can't get enough of Henry. He's a great actor.
Yep. So. Lovely pecs.
Well, I don't care for.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Ballpark.
Shit.
Are you talking about the bathtub scene?
Sure.
Oh man.
I mean, people made such a huge deal out of it, but it wasn't really. I mean, yeah, it doesn't.
Wasn't it like a milky bathtub or some shit?
No.
Like AE poured some product in there.
I'm pretty sure AE didn't.
Party dip.
Put their green light on that.
Everyone's like, what's AE? It's our local dairy.
It's not like Game of Thrones level of lewdness where it's just like, hey, boobies, just because, It is like tastefully done, but yeah, people like kind of lost their shit over it. They're like, oh my god. I'm like, okay, it's just a dude in a bathtub. Good shit.
He sold a lot of bathtubs during that time.
Yeah, I sold a lot of clawfoot bathtubs that aren't connected whatsoever to plumbing.
Fabio's like, I could have done that. That's a deep pull, right?
Hey, bathtub streamers are getting, a big push on Twitch. Maybe I'll go buy a clawfoot bathtub and just set it in the middle of my living room.
Oh my god.
Call it good.
I think it's his voice. Like they do something in the editing room, with his dialogue. It gives him more of a bass.
Oh, really? Oh, probably.
He's got a very booming voice. Not like Kratos level of booming, but like it's still deepened a little bit. I think. I mean, it works. I mean, the character has a very booming voice in the games, so.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, he could do that. He's a great actor. I think I don't know if you say he's underrated. I think everyone pretty much feels he's a good actor, and it's stupid they don't utilize him enough for Superman. Maybe they will. Who knows? But I did like him from The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That's a great movie. I think he was in that. And awesome job. Played American in that one. Mission Impossible too. That was a good one.
He was amazing in that.
Mustache, not everyone can rock a mustache anymore in our day and age.
Oh man,
they probably are coming
the
back.
The fact that he just grew it himself too. It's just like boom, here it is.
Yeah,
he probably just woke up in the morning and just like concentrated really hard and like testosterone just flowed to his upper lip.
Veins popping out.
Like Hulk out and just grew an epic mustache.
Oh, I admire people who can just grow a beard like in a day or something.
I certainly fucking can't.
I can't. It takes me like 2 weeks maybe, But I know people are like, yeah, I just shaved today. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right, well, we'll get in some news then. Apparently we're getting another RoboCop game.
Yes, RoboCop Rogue City. So it's set to launch in 2023. There's not a lot of information on it. The thing that makes me nervous about it is that it's such a huge franchise to do it justice, and it's supposed to kind of take place within the same universe as as the movies.
Oh,
So OCP is going to be in it, and it's going to be kind of centered around that. But it's by Taeon, who previously worked on Terminator Resistance in January of 2020. They recently released an enhanced PS5 version of it in April. MGM is going to be involved in it as well, so that should be good. Usually when the production company for the movies gets involved, it tends to make the dev team work a little harder.
good,
So
good.
that should be good. RoboCop hasn't had many great games, though. So that's kind of, anything that, aside from the arcade game that came out, and I think they ported it to I think it was ported to Super Nintendo or something like that. But
I had the RoboCop versus Terminator game for Super NES. I enjoyed it. It
Yeah,
probably is not as good as I
fun.
remember it. Yeah. I just remember
fun.
I just remember it was funny to see him go up a ladder really fast because he never moved that quick in the films,
The most recent RoboCop game was in 2003 for the PS2 and Xbox and PC. I think it was just completely bombed. It was such a shitty game.
Did you ever play it?
I did.
Yeah.
I never bought it, but I played it at a friend's house. It was kind of nah.
Ugh.
But I don't know. The only thing that makes me nervous about the trailer looks really good, but there's no gameplay
Right.
footage yet.
Yep.
So
Just a teaser.
that makes me a little, apprehensive. But I don't know. I think I'll kind of reserve my judgment until we get some gameplay footage. But more than likely, it's going to be like a next gen console release, probably for PS5 and Xbox
Right.
Series X and stuff like that. So
Well, it's not a game people don't want. I think everyone wants an awesome RoboCop game.
Yeah.
It's just let's just get the awesome part right. The Mortal Kombat, man, they got that right. It seemed the graphics anyway with him. Like I know it's Mortal Kombat, but just to see him fighting, like that was pretty badass, and the effects look pretty good to me.
well, and if you haven't played Terminator Resistance, it's still a pretty good game.
Mhm.
And for a Terminator game, like it's one of those things like the 80s franchises have never had great games come out about them, but like now that we've got all this new technology and stuff like that, they can do so much more with the characters. And what I'm really hoping with this is that they're going to make it kind of like they did with like the Arkham series for Batman.
That
Where,
would be cool.
You can be on foot patrolling and stuff like that, or you can get in your car and drive around. There's probably going to be, I would say that if they like made it kind of an open world game, it would be good. I don't know that they're going to. That's they have literally released no information on what to expect with this. If it's going to be third person, first person, what it's going to be. But yeah, if it's done right, I'll play it.
Can you just imagine if it had like a GTA engine? Like you could patrol the streets, arrest people as RoboCop, take on missions, all kinds of stuff you could do. It would be so awesome. And you could revisit.
I think that would be good.
It would.
It does make me feel pretty good that they're utilizing the same universe as the movies.
Yeah, I like that.
So maybe we'll get like some Easter eggs in here. Like you'll go to like a warehouse and you'll see like a decommissioned Ed 209 or whatever.
Yes.
But I don't know. It seems like from the trailer and stuff I've seen of it so far, like that OCP still has like a grip on the city.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. As long as we don't have like cyborg ninjas coming after RoboCop,
Oh
we don't
man,
need any of that shit.
the only thing they need to take from 3 is that jetpack. That's it.
Yeah, that would be like a unique way to kind of get around the city and stuff like that. But
That's what got me interested in that film. That was the best scene in that whole movie was him on that jetpack, even though it was not the best special effects. But Man, that was so
Yeah.
cool. I was like, oh, that's a nice accessory. I like it. Who the hell is this guy playing RoboCop? It's not Peter Weller. What the fuck?
Yeah. I think it would be nice if they got Peter Weller to do the voice acting for it. It'd be nice if they did it like kind of an open world, like the Arkham series. There's so many good things they can do with this, and plus, like, there's a new Unreal Engine coming out that they could probably utilize for this as well.
Really?
So, yeah. I don't think it's quite developed yet, but they're hoping to have it for they want to use it for the next gen consoles and stuff like that. But
what's the take on it? Like, what's the how's it run, or anything you know about the new engine they're talking about?
There's not much I know about it yet, but
sure.
Everything, like almost every game you pick up now has Unreal Engine 4 on it. And I think it's Unreal Engine 5 that's coming out.
Cool.
But yeah, really, you can. I mean, there's people that have done just amazing things with the current Unreal Engine. There's even like fan made games that they've used with the engine where they recreate like Zelda, the classic Zelda games with it. And it just looks amazing.
Nice.
And it runs great. Yeah, I think the only way to do it is an open world game where you have different challenges, different missions you got to go on. Of course, there's probably going to be like, the main story missions and then like side quests you can do, and
right,
probably like things to collect and whatever. But I'll be excited to see like what, as we get more information on it. It'll be nice. But
so like the Terminator game they did, was that just like mission after mission?
Yeah, I think so.
Because they also did a Rambo the video game too, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of pulling up some more information on Terminator Resistance here.
I'm just curious. Like, it probably will be more of that, unfortunately, unless it's open world. Just because it's got to be a fortune, right, to have an open world game. Like, it would be amazing, I think, but
it takes it takes a lot of a lot of disk space. It takes a lot of processing time and stuff like that to do an open world. But if you can do it the right way, like they do with games like GTA and Far Cry and stuff like that, where you just have a massive open world and you can go anywhere literally without loading times.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
That would be probably the way to do it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens when it comes out. Hopefully they don't just completely shit the bed with it. But
I hope it's good, man. I just feel we just need a good RoboCop game that make it worth the wait. I guess it's been a while. So yeah, like you said, 02 maybe, or you could count the Mortal Kombat, I guess, in a way, but that's not really. But it's still cool to play as that character.
I think what really worked for Mortal Kombat is that they actually got like the actors that played the characters that they brought in. Right. Like they got Peter Weller, they got Sylvester Stallone, they got, God, I can't think of the guy's name that does Spawn now. But
Michael Jai White? Is that right?
No, it wasn't him. It was the one from
HBO.
The HBO series.
Oh, I gotcha.
I can't think of his name.
Oh, yeah, I think Keith Davidson?
David. Yeah, Keith David, that's it.
Yeah, not Davidson. Not Davidson. Whoops.
As long as they do it like justice, or if they get somebody that can sound enough like Peter Weller to do it, then, as long as it's not like RoboCop pulls up, he's like, oh, let's pull over.
It's very robotic.
Really stupid ass. It has some stupid ass like voice acting for it, but
right.
I don't know. It's such a, I think, underrated franchise. And we don't need to talk about the 2014 movie because that sucks.
There's aspects of that I liked. I think maybe if that was like the son of RoboCop, if you will, maybe it would have been more acceptable. I did appreciate some of it, but yeah, I know. As a
standalone movie, not looking at the previous franchise or the trilogy that came before it, it's good.
I think it's interesting, the concept. He's more of an amputee in that version versus. Yeah. It's not as harsh. I mean, it's still harsh, but it's not as harsh because he was able to regain his humanity, if you will, in the remake more, I think.
Yeah. I think it's more of a love letter to RoboCop than it is anything.
Right, like it should maybe been its own thing, not RoboCop. Just because, yeah, I know they redid the music, reused the music, if you will, and it just did not match with what they were doing. The cast was huge, man. It was Michael Keaton, Samuel L. Jackson, Gary Oldman. I did admire what it was trying to do, but yeah, it's like you should not remake. You could add to the universe. You know, this could be Detroit years later, but yeah. That one's difficult for me. Like, I don't hate it, but I don't really accept it as, like, this is RoboCop, you know? It's like, no, the original is always going to be that for me, you know? But I digress. But yeah, I look forward to it. I hope they make a decent game, you know? Should we move on to trailers then?
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, this came out of nowhere, to me anyway. Val, which is a documentary about Val Kilmer. Apparently he had a video camera on his sets over his like 40-year career. So we got all this never before seen footage. It's really touching and entertaining for me. You know, for me it was when I watched the trailer, like, wow, you get to see a lot of these actors he worked with young, you know, like there's scenes of him from like Top Gun just goofing off and stuff between takes. And I really got a kick out of that. And then of course it focuses on his, later on, his throat cancer he had, and he's recovering. And unfortunately, his voice is pretty shot. So it's kind of like a, you know, I know we're maybe on a trend here with love letters, if you will, but it's like a love letter to his career and just, I guess, appreciating what he did. He still is acting, but of course, he's mostly dubbed anymore. He's actually going to be in Top Gun Maverick, which comes out in November. So I'm excited to see. I don't know if they'll work in Iceman having cancer or not. There might not be time to go that dark. I don't know, but just to explain why he can't talk, or if they try to dub him, I don't know. But aside from that, though, I mean, this looks like a great documentary. I'd love to see it, and
it does.
Yeah, I always have dug him as an actor. He's a very committed actor, and I've heard he's difficult to work with. So who knows how much of that is true. Hollywood, there's so many egos at play, but yeah, if you're creating something and trying to bring something to the role, of course you're probably going to have some tensions there. Not everyone's going to understand your process, if you will. I thought he was a decent Batman.
I did too.
Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with his Batman, and he didn't come back because he didn't get along with Schumacher. So I think he would have helped Batman and Robin, but maybe he also read the script. He was like, no. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, and he's had such a storied career too. Like before, like Heat was a good movie that he was in. What was it the Western he was in? Oh, Unforgiven.
No, it was Tombstone. That's actually Steve's favorite movie, I think, or one of his favorite films. Yeah, Doc Holliday, man. Yeah. Oh shit, should have got an Oscar for that.
Amazing Doc Holliday.
He did.
I think it'll be good. I kind of grew up with Val Kilmer, and I always enjoyed his acting. So it'll be good to see like some of the behind the scenes stuff and things like that.
I get a kick out of seeing a lot of that. I wonder if Cruz is in any of the footage or if he okayed it. Who knows? He's probably like, take that out. I don't know. But yeah, it's really cool. I never knew he brought a video camera to set. That's pretty badass. Very talented actor, and he played Mark Twain a lot on stage. So there's some of that they show, and his family life and all that. Iceman was my first introduction. Top Gun, obviously. To him.
That was mine too.
Yeah, and yeah, he didn't always make the best movies, but I think his acting, his performances were always worth seeing in those films.
Yeah,
I'd say
he always made the best out of what he was given.
Right, you're right,
and I don't think I think that's kind of rare. I mean, there's people that'll just act for the paycheck. I think he kind of did that to like try and stay relevant, but at the same time, he always seemed to pour himself into every role he was given, even if it was a smaller budget role. It didn't matter to him. He still gave it 110%. So
he always seemed to hover into the peak range of his career, right? To me, but it just never got there. It never quite reached, but it was close.
Yeah, it always seemed like, you saw him in a movie and like, Tombstone, for example, would be like, oh man, this is going to just boost his career. He's going to have offers coming at him left and right. And then he just kind of disappeared,
Right.
And I don't know. I think maybe that was more so him being choosy about what he acted in.
Right.
Yep. Because he, I don't think if he saw, like, kind of like with Batman and Robin, like if he saw a script that he just was like, nah about, then he didn't put himself into that.
Exactly.
Position,
He wasn't really in it for the paycheck much.
He wanted something that could, really show him, or really, I guess, speak to his acting background. And he did a lot of, like you said, he did a lot of stage work and stuff like that too. And I think people who have like the stage background kind of tend to be a little choosier about their roles.
Yep. You know what? He probably did peak actually when he did The Doors. That might have been the peak when he played Jim Morrison.
He was amazing in The Doors.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't remember that, but I think at the time that was kind of a phenomenon. I think it kind of brought them back into the limelight a little bit, and yeah, his performance, he totally channeled Jim Morrison. It was just uncanny. Yeah. So, and he might have got an Oscar nomination. I should have looked that up, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I look forward to the documentary. How about you, Megan?
I don't know that, had I not, done the research for the show, I don't know that that's something that I would have gone out of my way to find or even looked at, because I was never a big fan. But after seeing that, I agree with the sentiments. It's super heartfelt. I mean, and Kevin Bacon, there's a shot of him in there, and I like that because I was a huge Kevin Bacon fan growing up, believe it or not. And still kind of am.
Right, sure.
So,
that's so crazy to see him young again, all of them, all those actors.
Oh my God, I looked at that shot and I thought, oh wow.
Yeah, they're like in their 20s.
Yeah, I definitely think I'll give it a go.
So yeah, moving on, the Many Saints of Newark. I don't know if you were a big Sopranos fan. I pretty much was.
I didn't really get into it too much.
Yeah.
So I think like right around the time like the series was ending, I was like, oh, maybe I should go back and check this out. And then like I heard that the ending of the series was really, really disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, it just kind of cut off, and I was like, well, I hate cliffhanger endings like that. And then, it's like all this build up for zero payoff. So I don't know. If I do end up going back and watching Sopranos, I'll probably give it a go. But I don't know. I wasn't like a big fan of Sopranos, so this trailer didn't really do much for me. But
right, yeah, I could get that. Yeah, I had HBO at the time, which I know a lot of people didn't. So that's how you would see it. Of course, I don't know if it's been available on Netflix or anything like that before, but I have HBO Max, so it's all there. But yeah, I got into, I didn't really start from the beginning. I just, wherever they were at, that's kind of where I entered. And I don't remember all of the characters. It was very entertaining, though. It was like a Goodfellas, but it was a television series. So
yeah,
it had that premise like Analyze This had, where, a mob boss goes to see a shrink. So it was very similar at the time. Like both those, yeah, like I think Analyze This was 98 maybe when it came out. And then I think The Sopranos came out in 99. So it was like so damn close. That idea was so fresh. And it was intriguing because you'd never seen something like that before. But yeah, this series, of course, capitalized on the deaths you saw. And I will watch them on YouTube, like the best of, the clips and all that stuff. It's oddly entertaining, It's kind of like when you watch horror films. It's just like, oh, that was a good kill. But the humor is really good. The banter, the back and forth. I mean, they're not great people. It's not one of those shows, There's really no good guy in there. And if there is, they're usually taken out. So, but
well, and one of the things that I can't stand that happens sometimes when you have a beloved series like this one, and then they go and try to do like a spin-off or a prequel or something like that, it just doesn't really hit the mark like the original series did.
Right.
Kind of like I was a huge fan of Sons of Anarchy, and then Mayans MC, I tried getting into that, and I was like, not really. But kind of like with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, I'm not a huge fan of Better Call Saul,
Oh,
but
you're
like
not.
Breaking Bad's like one of my favorite TV shows of all time. But
Does seem to be as successful to me anyway as Frasier was
yeah,
compared to Cheers. Coming from Cheers, if you will. Like,
yeah,
but not. I get you're not
yeah.
always gonna have every
Which
fan on board.
I don't know. I mean, it's if you're a fan of Sopranos, you'll probably eat it up. But like I said, I've never gotten big into Sopranos, so I
I
didn't really
think,
do much for me. But
of course, yeah, yeah. Like on its own, are you interested? You think, or is it just something you'll watch
I think I
when it
think
comes
on its
out?
own, like I love mobster movies, especially when they go back to like the '60s and stuff
Hmm.
like that. It's kind of cool to
Yeah, period
like, oh,
piece. Yeah,
you don't have a million people that can whip out their cell phones and take a
right,
video of you and put it on TikTok or whatever.
right. Yeah,
So I kind of do like period piece kind of things like that.
yeah.
So
It looks
like,
good.
I might give it a go if I am able to go back and watch The Sopranos before I see it, because I feel like if I just jumped into this without knowing The Sopranos, I'd be lost. But
True. I mean,
um,
hopefully it's done well enough. Like it's on its yeah. You could see it on its own and be satisfied. As a fan and
yeah,
as not aware of the Sopranos as much. Maybe it'll get you interested in Sopranos because if you like what you see,
yeah,
the Sopranos picks up like 30 some years after this movie. Unless there's a
yeah.
way for them to make more follow up films, who knows? I mean, I do. It does look like it's well made. Yeah, a lot of.
So is this going to be a movie or is this going to be a series?
It's actually a
I
movie.
didn't quite. Okay, I didn't quite get that from the trailer. I guess I didn't do much research
Sure.
on
No, that's
the background
fine.
of it, but
It will be in theaters and HBO Max, so it's one of those
no.
releases. So
Yeah.
you won't have to pay $30
Um.
for it to see it on
Okay.
the streaming.
Well, that might work out for it because I mean they have done some spin-off movies and stuff like that have worked out really well. Like El Camino, that's the
Oh
one that
yeah,
like jumps out to me. That was really good. It was like the Breaking Bad spin-off kind of sequel
right.
movie
Yep, I never did see
that
that
focused on
one.
Jesse Pinkman. That was really good. Um, the Entourage movie was okay,
Right, and that was
but
actually a movie, right, in theaters.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah, and it was kind of like a follow-up to the series a
like
little
Sex
bit.
and the City
But
was, I think. Yeah, sounds like it.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's kind of the route HBO goes with their shows. They'll bring them back in a movie or a revival.
yeah,
Actually, Sex and the City they've gotten two movies, and now they're getting a revival. So anything's possible. Obviously, this is a
yeah,
prequel series, so it's probably more expensive if they wanted to make a show in that time setting. But
yeah.
it's very interesting. And what's most interesting is Michael Gandolfini is playing a young Tony Soprano. So he's the son of James Gandolfini, who originated the role. And he seems
Okay.
to be a pretty solid actor. He looks a lot like his father, so obviously that was probably, definitely something that caught their attention. But can he act? And I guess he's been acting for a while, so it seems from what I saw in the trailer, he can. And of course, with the attention of his performance will get, I'm sure he's working very hard to channel his dad, but he doesn't really have to be that Tony yet because he's a teenage version of, I guess, of Tony. I
Yeah,
think in real life he's in his 20s now, but I think this film stretches from the 60s to the 70s, so they can make it work. Like he's not going to look too old for being a teenage kid. Aspects of the trailer are very interesting to me. It's I don't know if prequels or sequels are harder. I think prequels are maybe because you gotta bring in the characters people know, but like Star Wars, I felt what they did wrong was they gave you everything we already knew that didn't make sense to be in the past, like altogether. It just seemed very small.
yeah,
Like R2D2, C3PO. Like I get R2D2's introduction. I think that was clever. C3PO
mm,
being built by Anakin seemed really stupid to me. Like, really?
yeah.
Why are we
Well,
like we don't need C3PO in every film or R2D2. Like, it's okay.
yeah. I mean, they did too. With that, they did way too much to try to connect everything. Like,
Yes. It just didn't make
you know,
sense. Yeah.
Boba Fett being a clone of Jango Fett, who's also the basis for all the clone troopers. It's like, oh, come
Yeah, then they had to change all the troopers' voices, or the maybe not the 70s troopers, whatever. But because I think by then they were just like regular Joes. They ran out of clones or a shortage of clones or something like that.
But then they went back to Empire and they dubbed Tamura Morrison's voice over Boba Fett.
That's right. Yep.
So it's kind of like,
right.
Okay.
And the guy who did the original voice was like, "Thanks."
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
But yeah, the whole point is prequels. There's a big temptation, I would say, for prequels to, oh, we got to bring this guy in, even though it might not make sense, but people want to see him.
Well, and it's good. It's good when they bring in younger actors to portray, the older characters or whatever, instead of just like trying to de-age somebody through CGI.
I agree.
That's when it kind of, like with Tron when they did that whole thing.
That was like very early stages. Yeah. That was
very early stages of it, but
it wasn't entirely terrible. It was a great attempt to where we eventually got to. I think The Rock was terrible when they did him for Scorpion King or Mummy Returns, if you will.
Yeah.
Irishman, that was a recent film. I think they put a lot of de-aging in. I've seen actually better effects done with the de-aging than what we got. A lot of fans, they probably put a lot of time into it. The only problem is when you de-age an older actor, they still move like an old actor, Like De Niro might look younger, but he's moving like De Niro does now, and it's not believable. It's just, like some of that's cool, but I agree with you. Like if you're going to go that far back in the past, just recast, get someone who looks like the guy or not. You can just, for instance, the mom in this trailer, she's played by Vera Farmiga. I think that's how you say her last name. She's been in a lot of things, the Conjuring films, Up in the Air. They gave her a prosthetic nose, looks like, to look more like the actress who played her as an old lady. So, there are little touches here and there they're trying to do. They can't all look like the original actor, obviously, but they'll get close. I mean, this cast, you got John Barenthal, Ray Liotta, and then Corey Stoll in it, and many more, of course, but those are the big names. But this whole film centers around the 67 riot between the Italian Americans and the African Americans, and it's set in Newark, New Jersey. I do like the title of the film. I think it's really clever. And we do have the original creator of the show. He wrote the script, David Chase. So that gives me a lot of hope. Like this could be special. He's not trying to pander to kids like Lucas did. So that's probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
That would just suck if they try to make like a kid movie out of this, But the director is Alan Taylor. He's done some episodes of Game of Thrones. He did Thor: The Dark World, Terminator Genesis. Did a lot of TV stuff. His films might not be the greatest, but I think his direction's pretty good. So from what I've seen, it looks decent. I'm excited to see these characters as young people, and there's some characters that were just mentioned in the original show because they were already dead by the time the show came to be. So we'll get to see those people they've talked about, and hopefully they live up to the stories and stuff. That's the other thing about prequels. I think it's tricky. You gotta give us like new characters, but you gotta bring in some old ones, but not too many. You gotta make the world big. Some of these they don't meet for a while, but that's the problem again with the prequels of Star Wars. It was like, we're giving you everything. We almost got a young Han Solo, for crying out loud. They took that out. But that would have been too much. But I look forward to seeing it, and I hope it's good. I think it has a lot of potential to be great. Let's hope it pulls that off. That would be awesome for his son to, get a lot of attention as well. He will either way. But Ray Liotta, oddly enough, was considered, I think, for Tony Soprano originally in the show that ran from 99 to 04, I believe. But he turned it down. I think. I don't know I can't remember what his reasons were, but of course there would be a lot of comparisons to Goodfellas in it, so Probably wise he didn't
Yeah.
do it. But yeah, it looks pretty decent. I think I think and hope it'll be good. Let's go with that. How's that?
Sounds good.
So we finally got Marvel's What If trailer. This has been an animated
Oh my
series
God.
in development for a long time. We got a lot of teasing from it. I think when Disney
Yeah.
Plus launched, definitely we've seen Peggy Carter as the captain, a super soldier, whatever, for a while now. So that's been one image we've fixated on, let's say. But yeah, this is an animated series, Disney Plus, of course, Marvel. It's alternate realities, I believe these episodes are, like, what ifs, exactly like its title. So like you got Peggy Carter as a super soldier in World War II. You got Tony Stark being freed by Eric Killmonger before he's captured and he turns into Iron Man. So if that happens, he basically doesn't become Iron Man, it seems. Maybe Killmonger would become Iron Man. Stark would build the suit for him or some shit.
Yeah.
T'Challa as Star-Lord, who's teaming up with Yondu. So yeah, it's really interesting.
I'm really excited for that because that's going to be the kind of the last time we get Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa.
Right. Might not be Black Panther,
Um,
come to think of it, but yeah, T'Challa for sure.
Yeah. I want to say he recorded his lines for that before his
Yes.
passing.
It's nice to hear him
that'll
again.
be cool.
Yeah.
That'll be cool to see him in that. I don't know. There's a lot to like pick out of this.
There's so
there's
much.
even one scene where it looks like Peggy Carter's like riding on top of a Mark I Iron Man suit.
Yes. Yep.
So I don't know. I know that's like probably going to be the first episode they do is the Captain Carter kind of thing. Like, what if she became Captain America?
Yeah. Did you
I know
like
that's
that
been like
as Captain Carter?
did.
I thought she was gonna be Captain Britain because she had the flag,
Yeah,
and
that's-
stuff. I was like,
that's what- that's they're kind of saying at first was like she
I guess it'll work.
was going to be Captain Britain or whatever. But I think what's really going to work great for this is that they're bringing in the people that actually played them
Yes.
live action to do the voices of them.
And their
So
likeness
that'll
too.
be cool. Yes. I think the cell shading type animation works really good for it. It looks like a comic book,
Yeah.
kind of brought to life. So I think it'll be cool. It's I'm definitely excited to see like who they bring back and things like that. So
I looked at the cast list. It's like everybody, pretty much.
oh yeah,
It's cool.
yeah,
I'm excited.
and they're bringing back a lot of people that have died in the MCU
Right.
to like reprise their roles and stuff like that. So that for me is the exciting part. Like I can't get enough of Yondu or Killmonger.
Right.
So
Yeah, my guess is for the Captain Carter riding the Iron Man suit, Howard Stark becomes Iron Man in World War II. I'm guessing that's cool because you don't have to do a what if with her, but all the characters surrounding her, right? Like Howard Stark becomes Iron Man, and Iron Man's more of a legacy, like passed down to a son. Maybe you could say that's the other thing. Like in that reality of Peggy Carter being the captain and Howard, I'm guessing Howard's going to be Iron Man. I'm not for sure.
yeah,
But
I could definitely see that.
but when we see Tony, the alternate take on Tony's capture, him being rescued right from the bat, is that the same timeline? So like the Iron Man suit's already been invented, Tony didn't invent it. It was his father. So I just wonder if they'll connect, like these alternate episodes, are they all in the same timeline, let's say? I'm just curious to know.
Yeah.
Or if they're just going to go crazy with every episode. Like, it doesn't matter. They don't have to connect. It's its own world. I'm really intrigued. I think it'll be pretty freaking cool. I'm excited.
Well, and what's great about the What If comic series too is they're always like standalone kind of things.
Mhm.
It's like they take sometimes one little aspect and sometimes one big aspect, and change it, tweak it, and it's like you see the fallout of it.
Yes.
So I think that'll work a lot. I don't know. They've got some glimpses of Spider-Man in it too, which is good. They've done a lot of great What If stories with Spider-Man in the comics.
That's cool.
So I think it'll I think it'll be awesome.
I didn't even know it was a comic series, so I thought that was a whole new idea.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
All the so the comic series, basically the premise of it is the Watcher, Uatu the Watcher, who kind of like watches over everything. He's like, he can watch. He, like his name implies, he watches, but he doesn't get involved. He's like, what if this thing happened differently? Like in the comics, they do like, for example, they've done one where what if Bruce Banner never became the Hulk, and it incorporates Peter Parker into it, where like Peter Parker is the one that gets exposed to the gamma radiation.
Wow.
And Bruce Banner basically becomes Spider-Man. So it's kind of like they do some really cool stuff with it. And
that's
I
fun.
mean, I know you have to do it within the scope of the MCU of like the stories we've already seen. But I'd be, I'm excited to see like what they do. Like what if, maybe like what if Loki won the Battle of New York, or
yes.
what if Thanos wiped out all of reality or something,
It's really the most forgiving idea you could think of, like for a movie or show or comic, because it's just a what if. It doesn't mean like it's set in stone.
Well, and I'm excited that they're doing it animated.
Yes.
Too, because there's so much more I think they can do. To do this as like a TV series would just be phenomenal cost.
Yes.
To do everything, but
it would.
Yeah, there's. I'm kind of excited to see what they come up with. Maybe we'll get some new characters introduced. There's just all sorts of, avenues you can go with this. And What If is kind of like the comic series. What If is kind of. Sometimes it seems like a kid playing with their action figures.
Right.
Like, oh, what if this happened instead?
Exactly. Yeah.
They've come up with some really cool ideas, and some of those ideas have branched off into other like alternate universes and alternate characters that have become popular, like Spider-Girl.
Oh, sure.
When they had that comic series going, that originated from a What If comic. So, I mean, we could see a lot of different stuff, and of course, they're getting the multiverse into play and stuff like that too. So,
that's cool.
I think it'll be good.
Makes you wonder if they explore the multiverse, if some of these what ifs will cross over into live action, if you will, like a sequel to that story, let's say, or maybe the what if all these episodes are kind of a culmination to an event that will be the finale, kind of like we had with the big MCU Endgame scenario. Makes you wonder, but. The only thing that sucks about this is Robert Downey Jr. is not voicing Tony Stark or Iron Man. He's out. They didn't even ask him to come on board because his contract's up, so he'd probably be too costly. And he himself has moved on, so that's the only thing when I looked up the cast, I didn't see his name. And then I remembered back to seeing the trailer. I'm like, that guy kind of didn't sound like him. And it's not him.
He didn't, but the thing that bothers me about not really bothers me, I guess, but the thing that they've done with Iron Man, like with all of the voice roles for Iron Man, like whether it be video games or cartoons or something like that, they try to make him sound too much like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I agree.
Give him that like snarky, attitude. And it's like Tony Stark was arrogant in the comics, but he was never like a sarcastic jerk kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like they're trying to do that. They're trying to like kind of retcon everything to make him more Robert Downey Jr.-esque.
Yeah, he can only do Robert Downey. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the only bumming thing about the whole show. But I guess it's not really a shocker. I guess because man, he made a lot of money. He had a great deal. Makes sense. They're like, he's gonna want too much to come back.
I can see not wanting to be typecast in a certain role, though. I mean, like Elijah Wood kind of had the same thing with Lord of the Rings. Like he didn't want to just play Frodo for the rest of his life. He wanted to do other things.
Which is probably why he took that part in Sin City, that psychopath who kills everybody.
Exactly.
That's not Frodo. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it'll be good. I'm excited for it.
I am too. What If will be out August 11th, and currently Loki. I think we got one more episode, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yep. That's amping up. Hopefully, it's a good finale. But yeah,
I'm sure it will be.
I'm liking what we've seen. It's very interesting and definitely not what I expected in a good way. I think
it is. It's definitely a show that I don't think you can watch it once, and do it justice. There's so many Easter eggs and things, just kind of peppered around. Like I think there was even in the first episode they were saying that, like, I don't know if it was Haley Atwell, but they were saying that, like, Peggy Carter was in the background of it.
I think I heard
getting arrested by the TVA. So, I mean, and especially with the latest episode, there's so many little things here and there, like the Thanos copter, the Polybius arcade machine, the fact that Kid Loki is drinking Ecto Cooler.
That was awesome.
So it makes sense when you think about it, because these are all things that are like the TVA didn't want in the real world, and it kind of makes you think, like, what else have they taken out? Like in the scope of the series or whatever. But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something we're definitely gonna. Once the series wraps up, I think that would be probably something we could just review in more depth. But
yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, we'll have to get together and talk about the whole series after it ends.
Yeah,
it's probably best in doing it like episode by episode.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. It's not like as easy. It's not as easy to review as like Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Right, because your theories will go out the window. Like, it's not going to be what you thought. Like, we pretty much as a collective been wrong. I'm talking outside of this show and stuff. Other YouTube pundits, they've been wrong too, and which makes a lot of people like pissed off when the finale doesn't live up to their expectations. But that's how it goes when it's a episode by episode. I think that's maybe the only one thing that's great about binge watching is your expectations. There's not a chance for them to really be created. It's just like you watch and watch and watch, and then it ends, and then I think you're more satisfied because whatever you dream up is going to be better than what they do most times. Yeah.
I mean, you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit with the fan theories and stuff like that.
They get crazy, man. They get crazy.
There's been all sorts of, when WandaVision came out, there was all sorts of theories like, the main villain's gonna be Mephisto.
Yes.
Like, no.
Yep.
You can't do somebody that big in a TV series. That has to be a big screen kind of reveal.
Well, after the first episode of Loki, I think when they had that stained glass of Loki or the devil, whatever, a lot of them were like, that's Mephisto, that's it. We're getting it now. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. But yeah, I know there was a clip or a still image of him sitting with a girl. I think maybe you thought this. It could have been Black Widow with the short hair. Or someone did I talked to. But obviously that was not her. That's the spoiler female version of Loki. That would have been cool, though. We're closing now, so I'd like to recommend, of course, you all out there check us out. Field of Geeks. We're pretty much everywhere. Steve's comic book blog, he does a great job of reviewing shows and movies and all kinds of comic books, obviously. And, of course, Bill, 515 Gaming, plug away.
Yes. So I finally got all the recording done for Resident Evil 8. Actually, it's been done for a while. I just have some final editing. I'm hoping to get that concluded here, hopefully by either today or tomorrow. So hopefully the last 2 episodes will be out on that. Last episode's probably going to be a little bit longer. There's a lot of cutscene stuff to go through that I don't want to cut out because that would be doing a huge disservice to this game. It's real quick review on the game. I think it was really good. It's definitely a good follow-up to Resident Evil 7. It's a little bit disappointing in some areas, but all around it's good game, and I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend you check out Maggie Robertson. She is the voice of Lady Dimitrescu, the big 9 foot tall vampire lady that everyone collectively lost their shit over.
With the big breasts.
Yes, but she is hilarious. Like if you look her up on YouTube, like there's videos of her like reacting to people's like thirsty comments and her like reacting to the game and stuff like that. And she's just a hilarious, really down to earth person that doesn't let anything really bother her. So
that's cool.
She is definitely one of the unsung heroes of that game. So
nice.
Very much recommend checking her out. Beyond that, I'm not really sure what's on the docket going forward. I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break after I finish with Resident Evil 8 because it's been a process.
I bet.
With editing, I literally have 3 more hours worth of footage to edit and put together and turn that to 2 more episodes. So I'm gonna get cracking on that, and then
great.
Hopefully we'll get some streaming going and things like that. So
sounds great, man. That's awesome. Yeah, check that out. Yeah, thanks for being on. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Megan, she had to leave us, but it's okay. I think they broke free of the atmosphere, so you lose signal. So that's understandable. But yeah,
no 5G in outer space.
Yes, she'll be planting our flags on the moon momentarily. So look forward to that. We will be back. I'm Josh.
I'm Bill.
And Megan was on too.
Yes.
Take care, everybody. See ya.